Throughout history, kings and queens have been immortalized as figures of power and grandeur. Their reigns were marked by lavish feasts, monumental conquests, and awe-inspiring legacies. But behind the polished portraits, royal ceremonies, and public displays of authority, there were secrets, hidden lives filled with mystery, scandal, and intrigue. Today, on Ancient Echoes, we're taking you beyond the golden crowns and jeweled thrones to uncover the secret lives of history's most fascinating rulers. These were not just figures of power, they were human beings navigating webs of politics, betrayal, and sometimes passion. Let's step behind the royal curtains and reveal the untold stories of the kings and queens who shaped the world. First, let's travel to ancient Egypt, where Cleopatra VII ruled not only her country, but the fate of an empire. Cleopatra is often remembered as the seductress who captivated Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, but the truth of her life is far more complex. Yes, she was undeniably beautiful and charismatic, but she was also one of the most politically astute rulers in history. Fluent in multiple languages and highly educated, Cleopatra wasn't just looking for love, she was looking for power. Her relationships with Caesar and Antony were not merely personal affairs, they were calculated moves in an intricate game of politics. In fact, Cleopatra's ambition went far beyond her own reign. She dreamed of creating a dynasty that would unite the might of Egypt with the power of Rome. Had she succeeded, the course of history might have been entirely different. But despite her ambition and brilliance, Cleopatra's life was filled with challenges. She faced betrayals from her own family, brutal political rivals, and the ever-present threat of Roman expansion. In the end, her love affair with Antony would lead to both their downfalls, as Augustus Caesar, once her ally, became her greatest adversary. Cleopatra's death by suicide following Antony's was a final act of defiance against the power that had encroached upon her life. Next we turn to the world of ancient Egypt once again, to the boy king Tutankhamun. The discovery of his tomb in 1922 by archaeologist Howard Carter shocked the world, revealing a treasure trove of gold, jewels, and the iconic golden death mask. But while Tutankhamun is one of the most famous pharaohs in history, his reign was far from grand. King Tut became pharaoh at just 9 years old, after the mysterious death of his father, Akhenaten. The young boy found himself caught in the turbulence of his father's religious reforms and the political chaos of Egypt. His reign was short, he died at just 18 or 19, and the circumstances surrounding his death remain shrouded in mystery. Was it natural? Some speculate that his death was due to a genetic disorder, while others suggest that it was the result of a conspiracy. What's certain, however, is that Tutankhamun's legacy was shaped not by his own deeds, but by the powerful figures around him. His advisors, especially Ai, may have been the ones pulling the strings behind the throne. When Tut died, Ai quickly claimed the position of pharaoh. Could Ai's ambition have played a role in the young king's sudden death? The answer may never be known, but it's clear that Tutankhamun was not the sole architect of his own fate. Now we move to Renaissance England, where Queen Elizabeth I reigned as the Virgin Queen. Elizabeth is perhaps best known for her strength, her political acumen, and her ability to maintain power in a male-dominated world. She was the last Tudor monarch, and her reign, known as the Elizabethan era, was marked by cultural flourishing, naval victories, and religious reforms. But while Elizabeth's public image as a virgin monarch was central to her rule, her private life may have been more complicated than history suggests. Though she never married, Elizabeth had several close and perhaps even romantic relationships during her lifetime. Her favourite, Robert Dudley, was a trusted confidant, and some historians believe their bond went beyond friendship. Despite Elizabeth's refusal to marry Dudley, He was often by her side, and their relationship raised many eyebrows at court. She also had a close relationship with the explorer Walter Raleigh, with whom she exchanged gifts and flirted publicly. Yet, for all her flirtations, Elizabeth's reluctance to marry was largely driven by her political ambitions. Marrying would have meant sharing power, and Elizabeth was determined to retain her sovereignty. But could she have truly rejected the idea of love? The answer may never be fully understood, but it's clear that Elizabeth's heart was as complex as her reign. Our final story takes us to ancient Rome, where we meet one of the most infamous emperors in history, Nero. Nero is often remembered as the mad emperor who fiddled while Rome burned, but the truth of his reign is far darker and more disturbing. Nero was not born to be emperor, but when his mother, Agrippina, married the emperor Claudius, Nero was thrust into the line of succession. His rise to power was marked by a series of brutal murders, most notably the murder of his own mother and wife. But it wasn't just political violence that defined Nero's reign. His personal life was filled with scandal and depravity. Nero was known for his extravagant lifestyle, but his relationships were even more shocking. Among the most notorious was his affair with a young boy named Sporus. Nero had the boy castrated and married him in a public ceremony, further blurring the lines between political power, personal desire, and madness. Nero's reign ended in chaos. His cruelty, erratic behavior, and obsession with the arts led to his eventual downfall. When his own soldiers turned against him, Nero committed suicide, and the Roman Empire was left to pick up the pieces of the chaos he left behind. These rulers, whether they were beloved by their people or feared by their enemies, were more than just figures of legend. They were complex, multifaceted individuals, driven by ambition, love, fear, and the constant pressure of power. Behind the royal portraits and grand palaces, their lives were filled with secrets, some whispered in courtrooms, others etched in the blood-stained pages of history. Though their names are remembered for their empires, their legacies are shaped by the mysteries that still surround their lives. In the end, what we know about these rulers is only the tip of the iceberg. Their true stories, full of hidden desires and dark ambitions, may never be fully revealed. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the secret lives of ancient kings and queens. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden tales of royalty, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our deep dives into the mysteries of the ancient world. Who knows what other secrets we'll uncover next on Ancient Echoes?